beautiful song reminds us on 3 pillars do we all stand, and indeed all those pillars are gathered here this evening. That is each other, our faith, our tradition, our Torah, and our history, all coming together tonight on this, the last evening of our holiday cycle, known as Simchat Torah, the rejoicing of the Torah. And yet our rejoicing is mixed with the challenges that we have faced during the past year, which is why always whenever you enter our sanctuary now, there was a memorial candle lit. There is yellow throughout the sanctuary, and also an empty chair in our bima, remembering the 101 hostages who are not yet home. But we learn that even in our saddest and most challenging moments, we must find the celebration of life. And the best way that we have found to remember our past, to commemorate our present, and to look forward to our future is to find all of it enveloped in one individual who is here tonight to be honored by the congregation in order for us to learn his incredible, courageous, and heroic story, to understand that he came through the unthinkable and the unimaginable, and to rejoice as we rejoice with our Torah in the legacy that he has created and the generations that will learn from his story. Because his story is no longer just oral, nor will it be just on film, but it will be forever embraced in a piece of artwork that I know will literally take your breath away. And that is due to the incredible artist who learned his story and interpreted it and brought it to us. And just Smadar Levny, thank you for being here with us. We are honored. She will share with us. And to the gentlemen, I hope all of you know by now, and if you don't, you should have all gotten your special handout to learn the entire story of our beloved and revered Fred Bierman. We have government officials here to honor him. We have friends and family and those who have known him literally for generations, and others of us who have come to know him. But we all share the same love and appreciation. So that is what tonight is all about. It's remembrance, it's joy, it's celebration. So are you ready to join us? That means you have to toe tap, clap hands together with the cantor and our fabulous band. We here at Temple Har Shalom are honored to welcome you all, and a very special welcome, especially to Congressman Tom and Rhonda King, who are here with us tonight, who also will have a story to share, because Fred not only has impacted the Jewish world, but our precious land of America as well. So how exciting. So why don't we at least invite the family forward to welcome the Shabbat officially. Fred, I'm going to ask you to come forward with your daughters and your sons-in-law. Come right up here. They have no idea. So I figured, why not continue to surprise him? And we are going to light the candles, page 120 in our prayer books, followed by the Kiddush on page 123. Joining us tonight are Robert and Sharon Epstein, who have been our members here for so very long. Wendy and Steve Leeds. And we are thinking also of Hal Bierman, who regrettably could not travel this far to be with us, but hopefully he's watching us over our live webcast, as I hope many others are doing as well.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu leharik ner shel Shabbat.
The honor of holding our Kiddush cup goes to you, but the honor of singing goes to all of us.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, boreh peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava u'b'ratzon, imchilanu, zikaron למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן.
Thank you so much, L'chaim. It's juice. Enjoy if you'd like some. And I'm going to ask everyone to please turn to page 138 as we officially welcome the Sabbath with L'chadoti.
לך דודי
invite everyone to rise, to face the door as together we welcome in the Shabbat bride.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בעולם, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה,
While we are standing and while we are woken by the sounds of Lecha Dodi and the sounds of our band, we continue to ask the question, am I awake? And to do that, we turn to page 100. I'm leaving you guessing for more. 146, as together we join the words of the Baruch Hu. Thank you. Page 152, we remain standing for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Ba'ed.
And you may be seated. As together we turn to page 154 and chant the words of the V'ahavta.
V'ahavta
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך וביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. And this evening, as we sing the words of Mi Chamocha on page 158, the words that speak of freedom, the words that were sung by the Israelites as they marched themselves to freedom through the parted Red Seas, we are reminded again, both through the idea of being able to be here, one Hebrew year to the date of the massacre of October 7th, that we today are free to celebrate our Torah, to march it around, and to celebrate the life of someone who contributed to the freedoms that we enjoy today. Together we join on page 158 with the words of the Mi Chamocha.
Torah
Join with me, if you would, on the English of page 159. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. On page 162, the words of the Vishamru remind us, if we were to forget the purpose of us being here this evening, the purpose of us gathering on Friday evenings to welcome in the beauty and joy of Shabbat. So join us, if you would, with the words of Vishamru. I have a confession to make, and that is that I do not always know what to do. Something my wife has no problem reminding me quite a bit of the time. And so I think often about the part of our prayer service, tefillah, the amidah, the part of recitation that we do in the middle of our service as being that bridge between knowing what to do and not knowing what to do. And in fact, I think about it this evening with the story of the person for whom we are here to honor. If you read the bio of Fred, and if you have not yet, I recommend you get the chance after services to do so. It is a life beyond words. But the little bit that is captured here speaks to something else. And it tells us that sometimes there were people around that knew what to do and where to go and when to do it. And there were other times when you were on your own. And in those moments, it became critical to be able to think and move deep inside of you and think about what to do and where to go. And the words weren't on the page for you. And so our Amidah, on pages 164 through 170 provide a roadmap. They provide a map of things that you can follow to be able to get into the headspace of Shabbat. But for others, the moment of quiet, the moment of being with yourself, where we read in our liturgy, the small, still voice speaks to us, can be just as powerful. So together this evening of Simchat Torah, this evening of honoring of our Israeli and Jewish and American heroes, we will begin together with the words on page 164, and then leave it up to you to either follow the words on the page silently, follow the thoughts and minds and meditations of your heart and soul. We invite you to rise, join with us, and after you feel as if you have captured the moment of the Amidah, we invite you to sit down. Be seated when you're ready. The words of the Achinu have become an anthem in Israel right now. They speak to the return of those 101 souls that have been missing for over a year. They weigh heavy on our minds this Shabbat as the art sight of so many come to our mind, come to our hearts. And so the words of Achinu speak to our collective prayer for the return of our hostages so that they may enjoy life once more. Together, the words of Achinu.
Kol Beit Israel, Achioteinu, Kol Beit Israel, Anetunim betzara, betzara uvashivya, Haomdim bein bayam, uvein bayabasha. peace, עושה שלום.
Page 180.
עושה שלום ממרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו
Whenever we come together as a congregation, we think of those who may be in need of some extra healing. So if there are those whom you know, or perhaps you don't know, but we pray for their strength and well-being and the ability to face the challenges that they are, please feel free to share their name now, either aloud or within your heart. And for those known to us and unknown to us, we say, Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh ha'olim. Blessed is God from where the source of healing flows. And if healing cannot be their ultimate gift, we pray they will have the ability to endure their challenges. Amen. One of the incredible highlights of a Simchat Torah, the rejoicing in Torah, which literally is a marking of our rolling from the very beginning of the Torah to completing it in the end, and then re-rolling it again. And literally, that is what we have been doing for thousands of years. The same exact story, on the same exact weekends, on the same exact holidays. And every now and then, one of our students will look at us and say, Rabbi, don't we know it already? And they happen to be right. Shouldn't we know it already? And we do. We know the stories, we know the lessons, we know the commands, and we know the traditions, we know the rituals, and we know the holidays. But does that mean that we literally follow it? That's another whole story. You can know something, but that's very different than ingesting it and living it. And we've always been taught that we'll keep rolling and rolling and rolling until we get it right. So we're going to try again this year. The joy, again, is not just in listening to Torah, but it's in celebration of Torah. And during Simchat Torah, which means the rejoicing in Torah, we literally march throughout the congregation, holding the Torahs as a mark of our learning and our tradition, remembering the generations who came before us and have handed it now to the newest generation. Well, the story that we are going to hear tonight about Fred Bierman was told because of a younger generation who actually happens to be sitting here in our congregation tonight. He became a bar mitzvah on this bima, and it is because he accepted Torah and the learning on his own that we know this story at all. So Jared, I'm going to actually ask you to come forward with your grandfather and your dad and your uncles, and to please come forward, and your mom too, and your aunts, to come forward and each accept a Torah. We have little mini ones, not to worry. And we're going to hand out special Israeli flags to everyone else. But as Jared received this Torah from his grandfather to his parents, to himself, it is Jared that told the story that no one had ever heard before. So I'm going to ask you all to rise. Please, we're going to hand out the Torahs, the flags, and we are going to ask that if you would like to stretch your legs and rejoice with us, we are just moving around the sanctuary.
You're welcome to dance as well. בששון, ממעייני הישועה, שבתם מים בששון, ממעייני הישועה, מים, 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 היי מים בששון, מים, 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 היי מים בששון, היי, 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 מים, 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 שבתם מים בששון, מים, 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 מים בששון, שבתם מים בששון, ממעייני הישועה, שבתם מים בששון, ממעייני הישועה, מים, 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 היי מים בששון, מים, 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 היי מים בששון, היי, 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 מים, 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 מים בששון, מים, 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 מים בששון, שבתם מים בששון, ממעייני הישועה, שבתם מים בששון, ממעייני הישועה, מים, 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 היי מים בששון, מים, 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 היי מים בששון, היי, 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 מים, 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 מים בששון, היי מים, 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 מים בששון.
And you may all be seated. For those of you who may be in a different frame of mind tonight, that is called the seventh inning stretch. Indeed, I think we all understand that in this very complicated and challenging and beautiful world in which we live, we all seek heroes in life. They can come from many different aspects of our living. They can come from the everyday of the person who is kind and gentle and respectful and compassionate. They can come from the extraordinary that just might hit a grand slam for the right team. And I am not taking sides tonight. They may come from a teacher that helps us understand that we can achieve anything we set our hearts and minds to. Perhaps it comes from an ordinary individual that becomes extraordinary because of how they touch our hearts and touch our souls. And a hero can be someone who helps us to literally look to the stars and know that, believe it or not, the latest rocket ship that just took off will reach its destination in 5.5 years. If that is not a heroic accomplishment, I don't know what more we can look at and say, if we can do that, why are we still having so much trouble here on earth? In Hebrew, the word for hero is gibur, one who has tremendous strength, not just of body, but of mind and of spirit. And for those of us who were taught a little bit of Yiddish, the very first word we learned was the word mensch. And that is also how we say hero. Because a mensch is someone that gives themselves to make the world a better place, using whatever God-given talents and history and neshama, soul, that they have been granted. Tonight, as we look around, there are many, many heroes in our congregation. But oftentimes they don't hear how much they have touched people in their lives. And one of the most beautiful aspects of tonight, when one looks particularly at Fred Bierman's little historical record on its sheet, it mentions with great pride his birthday. How many at this particular age get to hear about how much we revere him, we love him, we honor him, and he's here to listen to it? In truth, I can think of no greater mitzvah than telling those that we are still fortunate enough to share life with what they mean to us. So as we listen how Fred has touched all of our lives, I hope that each of you will also take within your hearts someone who means this much to you as well in your own families, and tell them now. Please don't wait for a special occasion. Please don't wait until the years and days passed and perhaps they are not even cognizant of what may be told to them. Tell them now, and tell them with the love and respect that is about to be shown to Fred by so many who know him and are now coming to know him. And the very first person that I would like to call forward is Congressman Tom Keene Jr. I call him forward because he represents this great nation of America that gave Fred the chance to become all he could become, and to have a family, and to have a career, and to have a life of joy, which would eventually circle him back to a history which may not have given him these many gifts. So Congressman Keene, I'd be so honored on behalf of our entire family here at Temple Har Shalom. We are so grateful for the years that he and his own family have given to this country. I learned just tonight that it was your grandfather who started the legacy of your own service, and he began serving as a congressman in 1938. That too is a legacy we honor tonight. So thank you so very much. Congressman, we're honored.
Good evening. And thank you to Rabbi Musnitzky for inviting me to be with you tonight at Temple Har Shalom. Tonight, we gather with heavy hearts. We remember the horror and the attacks that the terrorists unleashed on October 7th, a day that shook Israel and all of us who stand with her to the core. The brutal attack on innocent lives was an assault on every principle of freedom, of decency, and humanity that we hold dear. We must stand united as Americans and as human beings to confront anti-Semitism and hatred in all of its forms. The incredible show of support here this evening is just one important reminder of the resilience of the Jewish people. Time and again, Israel has faced terror, and time and again, she has risen stronger. Looking ahead, Israel's fight is our fight. In the face of terrorism, we will stand, we will never waver, and we will never back down. Tonight, I want to honor a distinguished congregant who is one of the founders of Israel, Frederick Bierman. Mr. Bierman's legacy of courage, of service, and of innovation spans continents and it spans generations. Born in Vienna in 1930, Fred and his family fled Nazi-occupied Austria in 1938, eventually finding refuge in the British Mandate for Palestine. At a young age of 15, Fred joined the Haggadah, defending his home community from oppression and later serving with distinction in the Israeli Defense Forces during Israel's fight for its independence. Fluent in 5 languages, Fred immigrated to the United States in 1952. and continued his service, eventually rising to the rank of colonel in both the Israeli Defense Forces and the United States Army. His leadership is mirrored by his innovative contributions in the fields of dentistry and of medicine, where he pioneered advancements in bridges, implants, and even heart valve technology. A devoted husband to Rose and a loving father to Sharon, Hal, and Wendy, Fred's life is marked by resilience, by dedication, and an unwavering commitment to improving and safeguarding the world around him. It's my privilege to place his name in the congressional record in recognition of someone who truly exemplifies service and excellence. The congressional record officially admits your story for the history books of Congress. It will live in the Library of Congress for generations to come. Fred also has the American flag that is flown in his honor over the United States Capitol with him here tonight as well. Thank you, sir.
Congressman, we thank you very much for your presence with us and always for your support of us and helping us to understand that we are never alone while you are serving. Thank you very much. To now hear how this incredible story came from family lore to literally the big screen. It is a pleasure now for me to call upon Fred's son-in-law, Robert Epstein.
I want to say a few words of thanks to the people who have made this wonderful evening possible. First, I want to thank Rabbi Randy for her support, for her enthusiastic support for this project. I also want to thank her for her excellent counsel and advice and guidance to help us shape this project that's out in the hallway into something that will educate and hopefully inspire a lot of people, young people and old people, for a generation. So thank you, Rabbi, for that. I want to thank Smidar for her unbelievable talent in bringing Fred's story to life on canvas. And I want to thank her for being so easy to work with. We, Sharon and I, not easy to work with. Smidar, very easy to work with. And because she was so easy to work with, this project went so smoothly from beginning to end, in spite of us. So thank you for that. And thank you for being our tour guide at Epcot that day when we came to visit. I enjoyed that a lot. An extra special thanks goes to my wife, Sharon. For about a year, this project has been Sharon's passion. Actually, that's the wrong word. It was more of an obsession than a passion. She envisioned the project in the first place. She found Smidar. She has been the driving force behind this project from the beginning to the end and at all points in between. And if you know Sharon, and most of the people here do know Sharon, if you know Sharon, you know that when she gets focused on a project, you better get out of the way or you'll get run over. So thank you, my love, for doing such a wonderful job. But the most credit greatest thanks, the most profound gratitude goes to someone who's not here tonight. I'm talking about our beloved Linda, Fred's beloved Linda. We lost Linda 3 years ago this month, and this wonderful art project is here because she left a bequest with instructions to do something to honor Fred Bierman, and that's what we've done. It was a profound act of love by her for him. So Fred, what this really is, this is Linda's loving gift to you. And then I want to thank all of you for being here tonight to join with us and share with us in honoring a really great guy. So thanks to you all.
We decided to keep you comfortable and so that everyone could listen and observe and hear before we make our way over to the artwork to see it in all of its incredible glory and history. It would not have been possible without the woman who literally took brush to canvas and so much else to canvas to create this story. We here at Temple Har Shalom have been the gracious recipients of her artwork for more than 18 years. And after you look at the large piece, I'm going to send you on a treasure hunt to see 3 other extraordinary pieces that have hung in our congregation. And people have always commented about their beauty, but never understood the beauty within that created them. And that's why it is a pleasure for me to introduce Smadar Livni, an artist extraordinaire, award-winning in so many ways, an Israeli who could fully understand and take in the story that Fred had to tell, and a woman with an incredible passion to help others appreciate the beauty and history of what life can mean. Smadar, we are honored.
Thank you. Wow, I don't used to talk without my painting behind me, so I feel like lost. And yeah, I want to thank Sharon that found me and trusted me to just read that story and paint it. So it's my honor that I could do this project. And I worked on this like for 2 months, every day, all day, and it's completed. We just completed a few days ago. So I feel like nervous. One thing, because my father, at the same age as Fred, October last year just passed. He had the same journey. Similar. He was 18, 1948, in the army and fight the war, 1948. Young boy, 18 years old, I can't imagine. And he got kidnapped and was a hostage in Egypt for 3 months. And, eventually when Israel got their independence, they switch the switch hostages from Egypt to Israel. So, and that's how I was born later. And so to make this story in a painting was, for me, I felt like I'm doing my family story also. But not just my family. So many families in Israel that went through the same stages. So I wanted to say something about those heroes in Israel, and it's from 1948, before that, and until today that I hear people from October 7, they contract their selves, they contract their ego, their needs, their want, make space for this enormous light and love to risk their life for others, to give their life to others. So Israel, can continue. I'm very proud to be Israeli and belong to the Jewish nation because so many amazing people and heroes come from this nation. So a little bit about my work. I did like 3 parts. First part, it is the part from Europe when the Biermann family in Austria. So I paint his house when he was a child, and then it's hard, to describe, but I wanted to say a few things so you can go and see it. So we have his house, and in like one day, everything upside down. The girl that was his friend didn't talk to him. He couldn't get out because then he would have to clean the streets. The teacher took 7 years old and locked him in the closet because he was just a Jew. And he didn't even know what he did wrong, and it was like a couple days in this closet when he was in school. After that, his courageous parents that in the middle of the night ran away, tried to catch a train to Paris. This was 1938. So that's the first panel. The middle panel, they arrived to Israel by the ship and made it to Israel. And there, the fight and the trouble did not stop. They had to protect their life and continue. And Fred was one of them. He was like 15 years old, learning how to protect the neighbors and himself and the friends and everybody else. And this was like a journey, a new journey for a little boy. I wanted to capture and show how you can become from young person, innocent, to a person that opened their heart and what they want is to protect others. So this divine light that these people have, for me, every time I meet a person like that, it's like, I can cry and hug them and like, I can't believe that those people exist. So I paint also when he became a soldier, age 17, 18 in the Israeli army. And the third panel talk about that Israel, 1948, Jerusalem, and some other details that you can go and read and see it. So it's my honor to be here on the wall, so people can remember for generation. It's important to learn the story. And thank you.
Some of you may be wondering, how is it that we are so fortunate to be the caregivers of this story? And allow me just to share with you, you never know what's going to happen at an Oneg Shabbat. It was just a few weeks prior to Jared's bar mitzvah 10 years ago. And I was walking literally down the hallway with a family, and this lovely gentleman started to speak Hebrew to me. And I looked at him, I said, "Oh, you speak a good Hebrew, unlike mine." And I said, "Where did that come from?" And he said, "Oh, Israel." I said, "Well, you've spent quite a bit of time there." He said, "Oh, yes, part of my childhood." And I started to ask more questions. And he said, you know, Rabbi, I was with the Haganah." Well, anyone who has studied Israeli history and hears the word Haganah, you perk up immediately, because they were literally the prelude to the Israel Defense Forces. That you were a member of the Haganah. Sharon never told me this. And I began to press more and more of this incredible story started to come out. And I said, "How is it that nobody seems to know about this story?" And he said, "Because I've never told anyone." 2 weeks later, Jared entered my office with his parents to have their Devar Torah meeting. Many of you are familiar with that meeting. We talk about the Torah portion, and we talk about doing a mitzvah. And I said, "Jared, I hope you have not yet picked a mitzvah project." He said, "You're lucky, Rabbi, I have no idea." And I said, "Well, I've got one for you. I'm going to hand you a packet of questions, and I need you to go interview your grandfather." And that's how the story unfolded. From a chance meeting at an Oneg Shabbat, and we hope you'll stay for ours too, because you have no idea what might happen and what we might ask you, to a bar mitzvah boy, a grandson's project, to the incredible piece we are about to go see in just a few moments, and a story not yet told. Well, it didn't just stay with us. Indeed, it has gone to the Spielberg Foundation and is also being made into a feature film right now. Our hope is to have that red carpet right down the middle. We have already volunteered for that. But that's how extraordinary the story is. So please, for those relatives that perhaps you never really knew their story, go ask some questions. You have no idea what you may learn from it. And now, before we dedicate the piece, Sharon, did you want to say a few words? Because you really have been our extraordinary leader and partner in what brings us here tonight. Sharon Epstein.
First, I would like to say that this project has been a labor of love from start to finish for many, many different reasons. The primary reason is that I am thrilled to have been able to do this for you, Tad, and for you to be here to see it. And I just want you to know that I'm very proud to be your daughter. Rabbi Maznitsky, my family shall remain forever grateful for that meeting that day, because it basically changed all our lives, because we learned about my father's history, which we really didn't have much of a clue about. Hard to believe, but that's the truth. Thank you to Josh, thank you to Greg, and for everybody here who helped in the temple to make this possible. Thank you so much to Smadar. It has been an honor and privilege to work with you to get this project done. I'm very, very proud of the results. You are absolutely magnificent. And I just thank all of you here today for coming, and I hope that you will love the piece as much as we all do.
We are just going to conclude with our closing prayers, and then I would ask that each of you please join us. You will notice there is an entire curtain covering the wall. You will please come and stand with us, and on the back of our special insert is a prayer of dedication as we will unveil the piece. But it is important now, after hearing the stories, that our own president, Greg Paradise, can thank you all, and particularly to Fred and his family, for gifting us with this extraordinary story.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you to everyone who spoke earlier. There's little that I can add to what they have already said, but the temple frequent flyers here, like my family, have heard me speak about Fred Bierman on several occasions in the past year or two, including my Rosh Hashanah address just a few weeks ago. Fred's story, and those of the dwindling few like him still with us, are so important to be told and remembered. It brings me great joy to be able to add to this living history in a permanent, prominent, and beautiful manner here at Temple Har Shalom. But we are just the recipients and the displayers of this great gift outside the sanctuary, which I'm honored to formally accept on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire congregation. The thanks, of course, go to Fred Bierman for his courage both throughout his storied history, as well as in sharing all of these sometimes difficult memories with all of us. The thanks also go to his family, particularly his daughter Sharon, who I can attest, you just get out of her way and make everything happen, and everything goes much easier, and did a wonderful job with this, and saw this project through to completion. And our spectacular artist, Smadar Livni, who I just met this afternoon, whose vision is now attached to our wall. Thank you all for making this wonderful project a reality.
Well, as Rabbi Masitsky shared, we are honored to be able to share with each and every one of you the dedication of the piece concluding our services. But to do that, we are going to turn together to page 586 back in our Siddur, as together we all rise and join the words of the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
And together we remain standing as our thoughts turn to those who are no longer with us. This Shabbat of Simchat Torah, the Shabbat of dedication for Fred Bierman, falls as well with heavy hearts as we remember not only those taken from our community these days in the years past, but of course as we think about the over 1,200 people whose lives are being commemorated, as we celebrate and commemorate their yard sites, their lives, so full of joy that were each taken on this date in our Hebrew calendar 1 year ago. We remember this week from our community, Rita Barish, Anita Bogus, Henry Morris Kaplan, George Lair, Jacob J. Pete Levin, Maureen Pechon Palmquist, M. Dennis Schneider, David Solomon, Dean Allen Olsener, and Harry L. Zeitels. We add to those names the men and women of the Israel Defense Force, taken from us this week. We add the names of the U.S. Armed Forces, both of whom we commemorate in honor of Fred, whose lives continue to be dedicated to our freedom across the world. Together for them, as well as those for whom there is no one left to say Kaddish, we recite the words on page 598, the words of the Kaddish Yatom. Yitkadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach yirtei v'yalmich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayed kol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalel v'yitalal Shemei d'Kudishah Barechu. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran b'yama v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and all to Israel, to which we say, Amen. You may be seated. For those who are familiar, there is often a tradition in congregations throughout the world when you are remembering a yard site of someone to find the name on the plaque of the wall, to touch it, to give it a kiss on the way out to symbolize their memory. And for years we had no way to do that here for those who were lost, and for the last year especially, no way to physically, tangibly add that to our hearts and souls. And with our dedication on Yom Kippur, on Yizkor of our community remembrances, you will see on your way out, if you have not yet, one plaque on our wall for the founders of the State of Israel, one plaque on our wall for the men and women of the IDF and U.S. Armed Forces, those lost in the Holocaust, and today especially, one plaque commemorating the lives from October 7th. So on your way out, if you feel you need that tangible touch of the moment, we invite you to touch, to look at, to observe, to pay respects to the words on our walls. And with that, as Rabbi Mazitsky has taught me in my short time in the rabbinate, the job comes with the roller coaster of emotions, of the ups and downs. That is the teachings that we hear about Judaism. We balance the joy, the highs with the lows. Tonight is one of those nights. We celebrated the Torah with Simchat Torah. We remember those lives lost on October 7th. We think about those no longer in our midst, and we celebrate the true legacy of a man. And so we're going to continue to ride that roller coaster this evening. And both in the honor of Fred and in the honor of October 7th, we thought no better way to conclude our service than with the words that speak not just of the state of Israel, but speak to hope. And so we invite each of you to please rise, to please join us, to face the Israeli flag, as we join together in the words of the Israeli national anthem, Hatikva.
Oh
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, you guys. And thank you for a wonderful band. Yes, thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, So, a little bit more, and then we come back. Dennis, you're gonna be part of it? I hope so.
That's